What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the video from the Demon Overlord. Now today, guys, we're going to be going over Death Kingdom. Now these are some miniatures I actually had gotten a while ago. There's two of them that I have not gotten time to build and take a look at. Now these obviously fall into the category of sort of the more busty pinup figure females, because we have the sort of thick Halloween special over there, sort of succubus devil girl. We have the thick elven rogue, and then we have this sort of Amazonian looking woman with her guitars. Then we have an edgelord guy in the back. So obviously, in my opinion, I love the Death Kingdom minis. They are really cool. So right off the bat, I'm not going to say these are bad miniatures. They can be fragile miniatures because they are like a little resin made stuff. And that can be a little bit, not always problematic, but interesting to deal with. Sorry about that. Just thought I'd change the angle, get a little closer there so you can see like his weapon that's being sheathed over his arm, her giant trident. Now these are each interesting characters. Now I got them each on eBay. There was no buying them from the Death Kingdom company themselves, but I really do enjoy these miniatures. They are similarly in scale with D&D. They're a little bit bigger. Like the women and stuff are a little taller. The guy there, he's pretty close to the D&D scale, but he would be what's called like a big brawny guy. Heck, I could have painted him to be a like weird sort of Goliath character, and it wouldn't have been out of character except for the fact that he has hair. Now, these guys were not that hard to assemble. They're pretty straightforward where they go. Basically, though, you're going to have to hold them there for a couple seconds and wait for the super glue to set. I would not recommend trying to pin these guys because, A, they are made of like a resin material, and boy, oh boy, if it splits really quick, and it gets shattered. There's no like, oh, let me just make this simple. No, it's just destroyed. Now, if you were trying to, say, make a character from these, you definitely could. I mean, that thick, succubus-looking woman in the back, or sort of Halloween-style pinup girl would be pretty interesting to play in a D&D campaign. Her walking into town with this little jack-o'-lantern giant trident, these horns and tail, and her outfit would definitely be making men going like, what? Any of these female characters would be walking into town, the men would be going, what? Thickness? Where? And the guy here would definitely be screaming the edgelord player. And I mean, it's sad to say I got him because he had that edgy feel. I mean, if I was going to play Death Kingdom, I'd probably use him as my character because I admit it, I'm an anime fan. I own up to what I am. I like my edginess occasionally. Now, like I said, I have two miniatures I haven't put together. I think they're both two more pinup females. Maybe I got one ninja, like the ninja guy. I'm not sure if I got him or not. They're just two packages I have not. Hold on, let me take one really quick. Take a look at them. We'll see. Sorry about that. Let's see. Do I have anything labeled? One is another one of the Halloween specials of like a pumpkin girl. She's on top of like a giant pumpkin thing. And the other one is, nope, another female. So she's definitely some type of pinup female with like fur and stuff all over her. So she'll be like a fancy female. Apparently I really do love the pinup females from the series. Apparently those are the ones I really get. I am looking forward to hopefully grabbing a couple male figures from Death Kingdom. Like, I like to grab them when I can. Now, do I recommend them for D&D? They would work. I mean, trust me, they'll fit in. They're a little bit bigger in the base than a 1/1. And the mini size itself, they might be a little bit taller personally. But just like D&D minis like that are unpainted nose ears, you can make them however you want. And they're pretty much on par with the height. Some are a little taller, some are a little beefier. But hey, D&D, no two creatures should be the exact same. A tiefling human and a humanoid, like, say, for instance, elf, they should be exactly the same. No, the variation is always important for your character design. Now, of course, these Death Kingdom figures, I'm thinking, like, you know, you're going to usually have to say, my character is thick, or my character is edgy. You're going to usually be saying that when you're using these for minis. I'm sorry, it's just, God dang it, I just keep going to the thickness. I don't know why. Oh, God. Something's wrong with me. I mean, every one of my minis, except for one of the Death Kingdoms, are all thick characters. Now, we're going to talk more about the economy of these, or the pricing. These guys can be expensive. Very similar to Warhammer, but still not as bad with the actual retail pricing, like the actual when you're buying it from the store. They can be expensive, but like, would anything of that similar size be expensive from Games Workshop? Anything of that quality or less in this situation? Because these have more stuff going on. There's more intricacies in their design than a lot of like Space Marines and stuff, because, you know, they're just wearing their power armor, and unless you're going to add like symbols and stuff to it, that's what you're getting, you know. Now these are resin-ish, models, so you got to be very careful. They can be fragile. I think, for instance, my elven woman there, the thick elf rogue there with her white hair, I think I actually broke one of her heels off, and I had to actually make new heels because, like, the pieces are so small, if they break off, you're not finding them. Like, but, you know, you can always just, like, paint around it and just say, it's gone. You always can customize that way and say, it's customized. Whatever. Now, I do recommend storing these very carefully. They are technically fragile, just like a Games Workshop mini with sword stuff. They have this, if it bends, it's going to snap, it's going to break. You're going to have to reattach it, you're going to have to re-glue it, or you might have to just flat out remake the whole entire piece. But honestly, with me getting these done, these would just be shelf pieces. I'd be putting them on the shelf for just display. I wouldn't have a ton of Death Kingdom, but I definitely wouldn't mind having some more. Now, I have, these 5 here, 2 more in bags. Maybe I get like 4 more or so. And that's just to have maybe some interesting NPCs. Like, for instance, that woman there with her little halo, I made her very sort of Duchessy feeling, even though she's very, like, sort of seductive with a very skimpy outfit. But all these characters are wearing skimpy outfits, so sue me. I tried to make her very attention-grabbing. But also on top of that, like, these are just really interesting to throw on a board. Like, you put them on a board, most of the time your players are going to stop and go, say, what's that? Like, these would be really cool to use. Like, oh, she's the objective to save her from the enemy dungeon. You find her in a cell. This is who you walk up. See, you set her down. The group's like, dang, son, like, the thickness. Better save that. Like, dang. Little T. And I mean, the Edgelord guy there, he just makes a good player character, because I mean, like, he can be that, like, I'm a cleric of death or the cleric of the grave. It's like, what do you do? My sword brings death. Okay. Like, very straightforward. And you got this cool Amazonian woman. I gave her, like, blue fur instead of, like, a fur color, because I've seen what her mini looks like and then painted by others. I was like, The bases, they are pure gray. You can paint them straight black. I think some of mine are painted more browns. I'm more like earth tones, like browns and oak brown for like a dark dirt. And I'm thinking about doing that for all of them, because I'm not sure I like the grass color for her, for like being green and hers being blue. I think I'm going to just start like toning them all gray. Like, so they all come basically unbase colored. So this is like when you buy any of those miniatures that are not made by D&D and they don't have bases. You have to actually like paint their base, flock it, or do what you're going to do to it to add things. Now, I have not yet added any rocks or something to them, and I really should have. I should have put, like, just made some small green stuff rocks or get small pebbles and put them on there just so there's more to look at with them. And I still might, because I can always go back and add more. That's a great thing about painting and miniature painting, guys. You can always add more later. It's not the end of the world. And I can always touch them up, too, if I have any spots that maybe I notice. I'm like, oh, man, I missed a spot. That's another great thing about it. But moving on. These, though, are really nice. If you're looking for great miniatures that are going to be looking good, you're going to pay a little bit more. Like, you're paying more for, like, a rarity single mini, like a medium single rareness. You're almost going like a rare mini from D&D. Like, you're paying like that for, like, rare things like like Mind Flayers or like that. You're paying that similar price, but for a character you're going to have to assemble and stuff. Now, that's still better than Warhammer. I've seen times where some Warhammer figures, like, they're single characters, and they're like, oh, give me $50 for this one mini that I have to put together, and he's only good if I use him in the army. Like, he has no usability anywhere else. Yay. Usability across the board, these guys are compatible. Man, they will work with whatever game you're working. Death Kingdom is the only game you can throw a big, thick woman that's busty into. You can throw her into any game. Pathfinder, you can throw her into Starfinder, you can throw them into anything. They're just unique and different. Now, I do like Death Kingdom's grim. Now, Death Kingdom has a dark feel to it, man. There is the ironicness that everything now is being a busty pinup sort of thing going on. And I don't hate it. I'm going to be honest. I don't hate it. My anime side is like, hey, I like. Me like you. The Demon Overlord gives a thumbs up of approval. Double thumbs up. And it's just, I love the Death Kingdom. I really do. I don't want to say anything bad about Death Kingdom because it's really cool. Now, yes, secondhand pricing, oh goodness, don't. Some secondhand prices are ridiculous, and those are for monsters. There are a lot of cool, interesting, grimdark feeling monsters. Like, they look like something out of Dark Souls or out of games like Code Vein. They look like something that belongs there. And then some of them just look like crazy abominational monster where you're like, why does it have for like its lower half? Why is it made of ers? And you can just use your imagination for what? But it's very unique. It's very interesting. The monsters have a unique feel, and I haven't gotten any monsters yet. I do want to get maybe 1 or 2 Death Kingdom monsters at some point, because some of them would be very crazy. Like, they'd be very similar to Crystal Chronicles bosses. Like, they'd be good mid bosses, or like just a level boss. Like, you know, you go into a dungeon boss, like your group goes a quest boss. There we go, a quest boss. Your quest to go take them down, all that stuff. Now in Death Kingdom, you're killing things to get any type of gear you can. Not all their gear is good. Some of the gear is complete trash, but it's better than nothing. And you have to slowly work your way up to getting some good gear that you can actually hold off the denizens of the dark world you live in, like these demonic goats that have like lower halves exploding out. The Giga Lion, I think is what it's called. I think it was called a Giga Lion. I wanted one of those just because it was a giant lion. I thought it'd been kind of cool. Yeah, the price on it and what people wanted was ridiculous. I tried to make offers and I was like, you're going past what I'm willing to pay. This is a project piece. Once it's like, I got to get it, I got to assemble it, I got to prime it, and then I got to paint it. No, I have my standards. Like most mini guys, I have my standards. It's not like when I saw the Red Dragon and like literally, I was so interested. I was the only one showing interest in it enough, and I was like, I threw an offer. The guy threw $5 more. That was maybe to cover shipping, and I was like, dude, take my money. You couldn't take it fast enough for that Colossal Red Dragon. Which, check that video out, guys, if you haven't seen it. That's one of my main videos. I love that Red Dragon. It's still one of my best miniatures. But these guys are really good, and I love them. Now, I mean, obviously, I do need a special case. I'm going to start transporting them around and getting them to places, because I would hate to hurt my Death Kingdom minis. These things are so great. Their detail is so amazing. They have such a unique presence on the board, whether you're doing a tabletop game where you're using them as a fill-in for something, or you want to use them as your player character, or you're playing Death Kingdom itself. Now, I don't play Death Kingdom because none of my friends have gotten the game itself, and we're not doing that right now. We are a D&D podcast, and we're 5th edition. And by the way, guys, I'll do another video of information about that later, but moving on. So do I recommend putting money into Death Kingdom over other miniatures like Games Workshops or WizKids? You know what? They're there. There's something I would say is not a bad option. I definitely give them good marks. They're worth it. I definitely recommend if you're wanting some really cool minis, if you're wanting some definitely like maybe some busty characters just for fun. Maybe you're trying to throw in a lust area or an area of, you know, the dirty sins and things. Like, oh man, this area is a lusty city. Here's some busty women you could throw out there. Just be like, dang, my character might never leave. End of quest for me. I leave the party. Dang. Oh man, I'm crazy, but I have fun. Well, anyway, guys, if you got this far in the video, you definitely like my videos, and I definitely thank you for tuning in. Make sure you do hit that subscribe button, and make sure you put the bell to all notifications so you're not missing out on any videos or anything I throw out there in the future, or any little chats or whatever I happen to review or go over. Also, guys, make sure in this case you death slam that like button. Helps get it past the YouTube algorithm so more people can see it, enjoy, and hopefully join the Demon Overlords viewers. And to all you returners, welcome back. And to all the newbies, I welcome you to the channel. And anyway, guys, if you have any comments, concerns, questions, or anything you want to ask, or anything you just thought was cool, like, hey, I really like that character, whatever your comment is, throw them in the comments down below, guys. Have a great one. I'll see you next time. And this is the second part, just for reference, the second part of the Demon Overlords Guide to Miniatures. Today, Death Kingdom. Anyway, guys, have a great one. We'll see you for the next miniatures guide or guide to miniatures video, and have a great day. Bye-bye.